Base coat for nails with artificial intelligence. Base coat with ChatGPT, called rubber base. Have you guys ever heard anything about these products? Me neither, until this day, so we are going to put them to the test. Hello guys, I'm Anastasia, international nail expert and educator. When I saw these products, I got extremely curious because I've never seen anything like this. Base coat with AI. What do I expect from a product like this? Well, since it has artificial intelligence, I expected, at least when I apply it on the nail, that it is going to do all the work for me. Maybe analyze the thickness of the nail, understand what kind of coat and structure we need to create, and do it for me. This brand is called X Nail, and according to their website, it says that it has great durability. Also, this is a cold base, so it doesn't heat when you cure it. Also, it's suitable for soft gel tips and has this safe 11-free formula. Sounds very promising, so let's run some tests. The smell is like regular base coat. The consistency is rather thin. First temperature test is I'm going to apply this base coat on the tip. Oh my god, it's so runny, basically like a water. Then I will immediately touch it to see if it's hot. When running a test like this, do not ever touch the products with your bare hands. So I'm using gloves to protect myself and to not have any allergic reactions. After 1 minute of curing, well, it is a little warm. I will probably not call it hot, but the problem is usually we experience these heat spikes within first 5 to 15 seconds. The highest temperature is supposed to be at the beginning of the process. So we're going to run another test. I will use this clear film and apply the base coat right on top of it and cure it on top of my hand. So I will be able to feel if there is any heat. Okay, I'm just kidding, guys. No, it's not that bad. Well, I can definitely feel some heat. It's warm, but I wouldn't describe it as like unbearably hot. So I guess this base coat is a little cold, but of course the best test drive is going to be on the nails. Okay, I just realized I was running this test wrong. So if this film is just on top of my hand, it's not really fully touching my skin. But if I hold it like this is when I felt the heat. So yes, it is burning. So it's definitely not a cold base. So if I can feel it with this test, I'm pretty sure we will feel some heat on top of our nails. I have a feeling that this last test was not fully correct. So let's try plastic wrap instead, because it's much thinner and it's also easier to hold it on a hand. I will try to apply a similar coat that we normally apply on top of the nail. Oh, it's coming, it's coming. Oh my god! Yeah, it actually now feels like someone is have a lighted cigarette and it's like poking me into my hand. So at first it wasn't that bad, but I would say around 30 seconds it's getting worse. This base coat is heating up. However, this plastic wrap is like super thin, and our nails, they are definitely much thicker, so they should be less sensitive than our skin, right? Let's apply it on my nail. Well, first coat was very thin, so I didn't feel much, but then I applied more, as I normally do when building the structure. And first of all, this gel is super runny, so it's super uncomfortable to work with. And man, yes, it was burning pretty bad. GPT-5 base coat. I was really excited to try this one. And if you guys have no idea what ChatGPT is, basically it's like an artificial intelligence. You can ask anything, and normally you would ask it in the form of text. So I did some research and figured out that this new 5th version will be improved natural language processing and human-like interaction. It will be expanded to include more data types, like images or audio. Hey, base GPT-5. Today I have this client coming and she's so picky about everything. She's always not happy with something that I do. She's like checking every single sidewall if everything is clean. I will show you a picture of her nails and of her as well. So can you come up with something that will make her happy like 100%? And also she would leave a really good tips, like $100. That's the least what I expect from the product that calls itself GPT-5, but there's no answer yet, so I guess we're going to test it like a regular base coat. Let's start with the heating test again. I will apply it on my hand. The smell is exactly like the previous base coat, so if you would give me to smell them like with my eyes closed, I could never tell a difference. They smell like exactly the same. The consistency is maybe slightly thicker, but it's still pretty thin and runny. And according to their website, they also claim that this is a cold base coat, that it has great durability, that it doesn't heat during curing, it won't cause any heat spikes. Oh my god! Okay, so after like about 7 to 10 seconds, it started burning like really bad, like nothing compared to the previous one. So I have to say that this one is definitely heating up quickly and like more brutal. I guess maybe it will be a bit better on the nails, but this one is definitely burning. So these claims on their website like it doesn't heat, it's a cold base coat, I'm not sure about them. The consistency is also pretty thin and runny, which is a bit uncomfortable for me. So I'm going to build the structure the same way, and unlike with the previous base coat, here I could feel the heat after like 3 to 4 seconds, and it was so bad. So out of these two, this one is extremely heat spiky. Next base coat is not promising any superpowers other than this is just a cold base and is perfect for sensitive nails. My nails are exactly like this. I always feel this heat. I have heat spikes from most products. I will be a great model for testing it, but first let's do the heating test. Okay, that's interesting because the sign says that it's good for 12 months after you first open it, and another label says that it expires in 5 years. So I guess maybe if you don't use it, you can keep it for 5 years. The smell is also very similar, but not as chemically. The consistency is slightly thicker compared to these previous base coats that we did. Let's do it. After 10 seconds, I can definitely feel something like a little tingling sensations, and it is getting warm, but it's not really as hot that I'm not able to keep my hand inside. I mean, it is kind of hot at this point, but not like extreme hot that I cannot stand. Or maybe I just now have tolerance to these heat spikes. You know, I heard that when you're doing tattoos, at first it hurts, but after like 10 to 20 minutes, you kind of get used to this pain. So maybe I'm just used to this crazy heating test and I don't feel pain anymore. But most probably this is not the issue. This base coat is really not as hot as the previous one. I still can feel the heat. I wouldn't call it cold base, but I have a feeling that it doesn't heat up as much, so maybe it will be suitable for sensitive nails. It was much easier to apply this base coat, and also when I started curing it in the lamp, I didn't really feel heat right away, so I was really hopeful about this one, but no, after about 10 to 12 seconds, it still started heating. So the biggest difference is that this heat spike moment, it was much later compared with the different base coats, but it was still burning. Cold rubber base coat. This is really interesting because if you guys don't know, all rubber base coats, they have terrible heat spikes. I know this as the person with thin and sensitive nails. Rubber base coat usually refers to a base coat that has thick consistency. Since thick consistency base coats are usually used to build the structure, we apply them thicker than usual, and this is also helping to cause more heat spikes. So this is really interesting. It is definitely much thicker than all the previous base coats we just tried. It's not really extremely thick because most rubber base coats, they're almost as thick as jelly. Now this one is not exactly like that, but it is pretty thick. There's no smell, like it's neutral, so that's pretty cool. Let's do the heating test. So whenever you're using this base coat, you're definitely going to apply thicker coat, so that's what I'm going to do now to run this test properly. Thick consistency base coats are usually applied differently, so it's not as easy to apply a lot right away. So I will really try to imitate the standard layer that we normally apply onto the nail. Okay, it's been 20 seconds and surprisingly, I don't really feel anything. I can feel some warmth, some heat from the actual lamp because it's giving some heat, but I cannot feel like heat in this particular spot. Okay, maybe now it's coming a little bit. Okay, it's getting a little warm in this area. And we're almost done, like we have 10 seconds left. Wow, that's it, 60 seconds and I barely felt any heat, like maybe a very, very slight sensation. So this base coat did not really feel exactly cold, but I would say this was the one that did not burn me. So probably this one is the only one that we can call as the cold base. I was feeling so hopeful about this one. It didn't heat within first 20 seconds, but then after 30 seconds, it was still burning. Maybe not as bad as the previous ones, but the conclusion is if you have thin and sensitive nails, all clear products, unfortunately, are going to have heat spikes on you. And even when they're cold base coats, they may still give you heat spikes. Let me know what do you think, guys, about this product and what should we test next time.